Hey everybody, it's Molly, and welcome to another episode of RTT. Now, my friends and I have some extreme feelings about the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I mean, who knew we could become emotionally invested in 76 different characters? Today, we're digging deep into the MCU as we remember that time that Marvel made us cry over a tree.
Much like the Harry Potter movies, Marvel did a fabulous job casting.
I feel like the casting of the Marvel movies is pretty spot on.
I mean, I think it's kind of lazy because they're like, we have more money than God. Just get the best actors.
I think every person in Hollywood's in that series of movies, right? Are they out? I think they're out of people. I think they're done.
I don't know anything about the comic books. If you were like, hey, Molly, is Captain America what you imagined from the comic books? I would have been like, was that a comic? I don't even know. But as I watched them and grew to love them, I felt like they did a really good job casting, especially characters like Iron Man, because he's so sassy and arrogant, but like you love him at the same time. I felt like RDJ played him brilliantly.
Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. He is the one who most, when I see him, I'm like, oh, that's Iron Man.
My boy, RDJ. Did you know that he is 5'8"? He is a short king, and he exudes short king energy, and I love it.
Talk about taking a character that I think most people were not connected with. I remember having Iron Man toys when I was younger, and I loved just the look of Iron Man, but I certainly didn't care about Tony Stark, and I think a lot of people didn't even know Iron Man, and making him just so incredibly lovable in his like snarkiness and his quick wit, and perfect choice for Tony Stark. Amazing casting decision to have RDJ in that role. So like iconic.
Oh, I don't think anyone should be recast. Even the Chris's.
I was gonna say Chris because there's just a lot of Chris's, and just to make it less confusing, because I mean, can anybody keep the Chris's straight?
I like them. They could maybe swap because I can't ever tell them apart anyway.
Vision. I didn't like that character, and maybe if they cast him with someone else, I might like him more, but I don't think so. I just think I don't like that character.
There's an opportunity somewhere for some actual representation within this cast, and for a more diverse cast of people to be within the MCU.
But if we could, and stay with me on this, y'all, stay with me, Angela Bassett would have been an incredible Storm. Halle Berry, I know that you're not really in the MCU. We love you. You're cute. Yes, you were great in Flintstones, but you didn't give me the Storm that we needed.
My favorite MCU character is Iron Man, and I'm so sorry because I know that's very basic.
I think it's Iron Man, because we know him the longest. And up until Black Panther, he was hands down my favorite. But then Black Panther happened and I was like, oh.
Oh man, Black Panther, huh? Ooh, T'Challa versus Tony Stark.
Off the top of my head, I am a huge Drax fan from Guardians of the Galaxy. He is probably one of the characters that makes me laugh the very most.
So what couple is couples goals?
Tony Stark and Pepper Potts are couple goals. They're like power couple. They're so cool.
I think that they're the most equally matched. Like a lot of the other couples are very lean heavily into like the damsel in distress, which I'm not here for.
There's only one answer to this, right? Tony and Pepper. That's the only answer to this question. Okay, sure. A lot of you are gonna be like, no, Peggy and Cap.
Peggy and Captain America. I just gotta say, y'all, that's some wholesome classic love right there.
But no, it's Tony and Pepper, because she loved him in spite of all of his flaws, in spite of his arrogance, in spite of his craziness. She loved him anyway, and he needed her because she kept him grounded.
He was frozen in an iceberg underground, and they still met up, and she was like ancient, like all old and stuff, and he still was madly in love with her, y'all. That's the kind of love I strive to have, y'all. That generational gap love, like I can go be frozen and come back and we still like in this thing. Not like in the thing, but in the thing.
Nope, I have the answer. Everyone, couple goals Rocket and Groot.
The mixtape gang. They go around and listen to mixtapes, and I think it's very nice how all of them they don't need to date people because they found each other.
If I were to pick somebody that wasn't in it, so of the 7 people left in Hollywood...
There is one correct answer to this.
I would have to create a brand new character for Judi Dench. Grandmother Scorpion. She's going to get you with her pincers.
It's Patti LuPone.
Catherine O'Hara? Moira Rose come into the MCU? That would be so wonderful. And she could just come in and she's her own superhero. She could be the Crow.
The Rock, of course. I mean, how has The Rock not been cast in Marvel, I ask you?
If you can smell what The Rock is cooking, bring him in.
I will not be bullied by that.
I think Marvel villains got better as they went.
I think some of them are very good, and some of them I literally couldn't remember if you asked me directly about them right now.
But generally strong. And there are some that are incredible.
A big reason that the Marvel movies, I think, are so successful is because the villains a lot of times have really interesting backstories so that you can understand both sides.
And that's the sign of a good villain to me, is where you can actually understand where they're coming from too and see we're not all that different, but some of us take this path and some of us take that path.
Far and away, my favorite villain, and it's not just because of how he looks, that has a part to do with it, but Killmonger is definitely my favorite villain because he has, I think, far and away the most interesting backstory and perhaps the most realistic as well. It doesn't feel like one of those supervillains where it's like,
oh, ha, ha, I'm a supervillain gonna take over the planet and kill everyone.
The best villain in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is Killmonger. 100%.
Killmonger's a favorite. That is a good villain.
Because he was a villain with purpose, y'all. He just went too far, you know? Like, yes, he wanted to help people, but the way he was trying to help people just wasn't it. And, you know, he had his reasons, but he was, man, Killmonger was no joke.
I've said this already. The best way to make a good villain is to make a villain that you can agree with. And Killmonger has strong points. He has a strong view. He's educated.
I know people who are like Killmonger. You can sympathize with him that much. Somebody who is that, like, his actions are that justifiable, and he looks like Michael B. Jordan.
Killmonger. No explanation needed.
There are villains that I think are really forgettable. The guy from Hulk, for instance. I don't even know what his name is. Bigger Hulk.
Thanos will always be my least favorite villain because he was just such, like, you think about him and it makes my blood boil.
If there's one thing in this world I hate, it's a gem thief, okay? Hi-ho, it's off to work they go, harvesting gems for Thanos, hi-ho.
Ultron? No, Red Skull. You're a lame villain if you end up as the eternal guardian of a planar entity.
I'm gonna go with Ultron. I distinctly remember there was a commercial where he's like creepily like, I've got no strings to hold me down. And you're like, oh, what's going on? But he was actually super lame.
Basically, Ultron is the Santa Claus robot from the Santa Claus 2.
I've got to get married?
Who takes it too far because they're a robot and they can't comprehend that there's like gray area. So they're like, hey, Ultron, just like keep the peace, keep it cool. And Ultron's like, I'm gonna go kill everybody. Uh-oh. Just the same way that the robot Santa and the Santa Claus 2 is like, nuh-uh, there must be order, naughty or nice. All the kids are on the naughty list. Ultron puts the world on the naughty list. And that concludes my TED Talk about why the Santa Claus 2 is Age of Ultron.
Yes, I can do an impression of Thanos. I am inevitable.
It's a terrible Thanos impression, but it's a line.
Bury me with my ancestors in the ocean.
Hello, this is Kate Blanchett, and I am an MCU villain.
I am inevitable.
The MCU fight scenes are epic. They are epic.
Normally, I think hitting is wrong, and I don't condone violence, but
I like to watch a good fight scene. I like an action movie that has some humor and a plot, so hello MCU movies. So, I mean, the fight scenes are killer. They're killer.
They are always very entertaining. I think that the fight scenes are always super well done, super well choreographed, and just fun to watch.
Crazy chaos, bunch of abilities, and then like close-up fight, like one-on-one or hand-to-hand kind of stuff. They're dope.
They give you what you want. I think it's important to be unexpected as a filmmaker, but when you're making something like the MCU or something that is, has a large fan base, then I think it's important to also give the people what they want. And they do it. They do it really well.
in the example of the guy that has the glove, like he's got to get his gems and he's got to fight for his gems. You want a full set of gems on your glove. You don't want like 3 gems. I get it. Get your gems. Fight for your gems.
My favorite 2 battles are probably the same as anyone who's watched the MCU, but Battle in Infinity War, especially when Thor shows up, like the lightning strikes and then Thor shows up with Rocket and Groot. I want to introduce you to my friend, Tree. I am Groot.
I am Steve Rogers because he's a well-raised boy. He's very polite.
The end of Endgame is just epic. Seeing all of these characters come together. I don't think it's the best fight scene, but I think it is epic in how it all just like culminates together.
Endgame brought us the fight scene that we have always dreamed about, but never knew would ever be possible and that we would need to see. All of a sudden, the portals start opening, and here comes the King of Wakanda.
And then all the portals start opening up, and out walks Black Panther and Shuri and Okoye, and you're like, oh my god, oh my god.
I thought it was very polite that Thanos and the team waited for them all to emerge.
Spider-Man! Hulk! Doctor Strange! Drax! Mantis! Valkyrie! Thor! I was like, all of them were coming out. Ant-Man! Wasp! Ah! I was losing my mind.
Like he wanted a fair fight. He wasn't just like, okay, well, you're pretty slowly emerging, so I'm gonna just get going.
Dun 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 dun. Avengers Assemble. Oh, chills. Chills right now just talking about it. We gotta stop this. I gotta go watch Endgame.
Also, what was a good one? When you first meet Black Widow and she's getting interrogated, but really she just has the guys thinking they're interrogating her, and then she beats them up while she's like literally tied up. That's awesome. That was so cool.
The fight between Iron Man, Captain America, and the Winter Soldier in Civil War, where it's just the 3 of them going back and forth, and that Iron Man is trying to stop the Winter Soldier, but without hurting Captain America, and like just the choreography of that, the mixture of the shield and what they do with it, throwing it back and forth, the reflecting of the beam.
Which fight scene is my least favorite and why? Is that what you asked? No. Well, let me tell you. It's the fight scene on Thanos' home planet.
Kind of an iffy answer, but in Civil War, when Bucky and Captain America were fighting Iron Man, it was a very cool fight, but I didn't really have a side that I wanted to win, so it was emotionally, it tore me emotionally.
They're there to stop Thanos, and they're there to get the glove from Thanos. And it's like Doctor Strange and Iron Man and Peter Parker.
I think that there were probably too many Iron Man suits at the end of Iron Man 3.
And they have Thanos knocked out, and Peter Quill, Star-Lord, Chris Pratt, is pulling the Infinity Gauntlet off of Thanos' hand. And it's coming off. It's coming off.
When the Avengers start fighting each other on the first Avenger movie. It was entertaining, don't get me wrong, it was funny. But it was like, what are you guys doing? You're messing up the ship.
And then he gets so mad about the fact that Thanos killed Gamora that he can't keep it together and just pull the Infinity Glove off.
My least favorite fight scenes are the ones in Doctor Strange. Like the part where he's like his spirit self fighting like a bad guy while Rachel McAdams is trying to perform surgery on him? What is happening? That's too much. That's a bad episode of Grey's Anatomy.
Get yourself together. I understand that you're very sad that your girlfriend is dead, but please save the entire universe. Could we maybe just do that? Could we maybe just save the universe and then get mad that our girlfriend's dead?
We look at these movies and we're like acting like we're on the fields of Wakanda 2 fighting, and we're like, you know, in space, and we're with Spider-Man. Like, we are fighting with you, literally. And I think they did a good job of making us feel like we were involved in these fights.
Spoiler alert, we are about to talk about the saddest deaths.
It's about to get real. So if you don't want to know who dies, how they died, when they died, and the emotional trauma that it will cause you, now's the time for you to look away.
Go and watch all 20 whatever of them.
Go get your Mickey ears and put them on your head. Do anything that's gonna make you happy, because it's about to get sad and it's about to get real.
And then come back and finish the episode of RTT.
Spoiler alert! Death's incoming.
There's 2 correct answers to this. When sweet Tom Holland looks at Robert Downey Jr.
I don't feel so good.
I don't feel so good.
Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good.
You remember Peter Parker dying.
I'm actually gonna start crying. And he hugs Iron Man, who lays him down, and then he says,
It is crushing.
is there anything more upsetting than that? I'm literally crying right now just thinking about it. It's the most upsetting thing I've seen in a movie in a long time.
Oh my gosh, Tom Holland.
When Black Widow died, I was kind of like, wow.
Because I knew she had a movie coming up. So origin story, I guess.
It was like that, like, dang, she dead? For real? Dang.
I kind of saw it coming the minute that those 2 were sent together, and I knew they were going to the planet with Red Voldemort.
And the scene was super dynamic with her and Hawkeye, of them like fighting over who should go.
I think that she bears a lot of weight and guilt on what she had done in the past, and she makes a choice that she wants her best friend to live, and she wants him to live for his family, and she wants him to have a future.
She was right. I don't know why he was arguing with her. He had a family and he was being dumb, trying to sacrifice himself for her.
Her purpose at this point was to save the planet, and this was how she was going to help fulfill that purpose. I don't think we see that enough in movies, like just a man and a woman that all they are just wonderful, wonderful friends. And so it's very heartbreaking to watch that, especially when he's holding her and then she's like, it's okay, let me go. And then she kicks off. I was very sad. I was very upset.
But mostly because I was like, seriously, it could have been Hawkeye? Ugh.
Gamora dying is my favorite plot-driven death because that characterizes Thanos over anything.
What did it cost you?
Everything.
This man is unhinged. And that's the thing about Thanos is he comes off as so sane. And when he throws Gamora off of that cliff to get the Soul Stone, I mean, that's when you're like, oh wait, this man is crazy. This is a crazy human.
I'm gonna kill my daughter for the greater good. Have you lost your mind? Yes, you have.
Also, Easter egg, when you see her at the bottom of the cliff, she's right here. There's a blood spot over here too, because in the alternate universe where Black Widow had died, that's Black Widow's blood spot. You're welcome for the most depressing Easter egg of all time.
Thanos died, I threw a little party.
What you get, son? That's how we do in the MCU. You wanna mess with us, huh? You wanna make everybody disappear, huh? Ain't no coming back from that.
I was like, hold up, Thanos. I'm gonna let you finish dusting, but Voldemort had the best supervillain dust into the wind death of all time.
Dust yourself.
I'm sad it took out Iron Man, but obviously Thanos is a horrible, horrible creature and had to go.
Hands down, in my opinion, the saddest death was Iron Man. And what's crazy is I was expecting it.
We just didn't see it coming. He was our first movie. He was our first look into the MCU universe.
He's really dead. Everybody else, for the most part, got to come back. But Iron Man...
God, one after another here, huh? Just, how did you feel when this loved character died? How did you feel when this loved character... What are you trying to do to me? What are you trying to make me go through here?
When he looks at Doctor Strange, he goes like this. And he knows what he has to do.
He's got the gauntlet on and you can see it's just like sucking the life out of him, and then he's like, I am Iron Man, and he snaps.
But he left behind a kid who named Morgan. Her name is Morgan.
I think there's a sense of, Pepper Potts says like,
We're gonna be okay. You can rest now.
It's the right ending. So it's heartbreaking, but in a good way.
I love you 3000. I love you 3000.
Wanda and Vision, aren't we a five pair?
This is our home now. I want us to fit in.
There's so much new Marvel stuff coming. I don't know when because the world is crazy.
Oh, I know we're getting a Black Widow movie.
The Eternals, I believe it's just Eternals now. They got rid of the
Shang-Chi and the 10 Rings.
I know there's a Spider-Man 3 in the works, which I'm very excited for because I love Tom Holland.
Thor, Love and Thunder, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Black Panther 2.
There's a bunch of shows coming to Disney Plus.
Wanda Vision with Scarlet Witch and Vision.
There's a whole series called What If? And they're gonna take the Marvel stories we know and like put a twist on them.
There's also a Loki television show coming out, which I'm very excited about because where did Loki go after Endgame? Nobody knows. It's time to find out.
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Which I'm also really excited about because I love both Bucky and Sam.
Definitely bringing Grandmother Scorpion to the silver screen. It's confirmed, and so I would say yes. Black Widow, cool. Black Panther, awesome. Grandmother Scorpion, my life is going to be complete when I see finally Dame Judi Dench playing Grandmother Scorpion.
I am looking forward to WandaVision.
If you had asked me before I saw the trailer, I would have said the one I'm least excited for is WandaVision.
Let's get into WandaVision, okay? WandaVision. I have so many questions. I'm so excited, but I just don't know how he's alive again.
I now would wager to say I'm super excited for WandaVision. It looks like a psychedelic, weird trip.
What's going on? They're like in black and white in like 50s clothes?
It looks like something that I wasn't expecting from Marvel.
As I said, Scarlet Witch is one of like the most interesting characters to me. I do think she's the strongest Avenger besides Captain Marvel. So I am interested to see what Scarlet Witch and Vision do in their show.
Marvel works best when they go away from the typical superhero format. Like, their best movies are once you know the characters and they can kind of play with it and have fun with it. That's why, like, Ragnarok is the best Marvel movie.
I'm excited to see Thor, Love and Thunder and see what the next installment of that is.
Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind coming to Epcot next year. I am really excited for that because it's a brand new coaster coming to Epcot. I know it's going to have an awesome soundtrack. Now I know who Groot and Rocket are. And it's got a brand new state-of-the-art system, so that attraction is going to be dope.
I'm also excited for Shang-Chi, just to give something different, something new we haven't seen before.
I'm also pumped for Loki because I love me some Tom Hiddleston, so...
I'm really excited for Loki because I feel like Loki was a Slytherin in another universe and he would have been like head boy. He gets out big Slytherin head boy energy.
I'm just excited for the Eternals.
I have absolutely zero interest in that movie until I heard that several of the Stark children will appear, and I'm like, oh, okay, I will be there.
I think I'm just resistant to new superheroes after Endgame. Let us know in the comments if you are also resistant to new superheroes, because I wonder if that's not just me. I am still mourning Iron Man, and I am scared of a world where he does not exist.
They don't give enough of these movies and films to interesting female characters, so I'm gonna go with Valkyrie from Thor. I think she is awesome, and I think she should have her own movie.
Groot and Rocket as a tag team would be really fun. I would love to know the backstory on both of them.
Let's get a show with Nebula. Let's just do a whole show about Nebula and let's make it like a rom-com type situation. Let's put Nebula on Earth and she's working at a job and she's trying to fit in and she's just trying to find love. And let's explore what that looks at. She, has her core group of friends and she dates around and then she, meets this guy and they develop a relationship. Nebula in the city. She's not gonna kill you after all.
This one is kind of a cop-out, but I am going with Shuri from Black Panther.
Yeah, probably Shuri.
T'Challa will pass on the title of Black Panther and the throne to Shuri, his sister, because that's what happens in the comic books. And I have to say, I am here for it.
I've got to see Shuri. That's the person I need to know more about because she was running the show anyway. That's all I want. I don't care about anything else. As long as that happens, I'll be good. Pretty sure it will happen. And that is a nice thing to look forward to. After everything that this year has been and last year, the fact that we most likely can count on more from Shuri is a nice little something we have to look forward to. Don't let us down. Don't get creative. Don't get funny. Don't think you know better what's good for us. Just give us what we need, okay? We need Shuri. The world needs Shuri. We need a little healing moment with...
Overall, I think the MCU is awesome. I mean, that's a crazy thing that they endeavored to do.
To see incredible payoff over a decade later was so cool. And the way they've woven all of these stories together has been so exciting.
I can't think of another franchise that has been able to tie together so many stories, so many movies, so many characters so successfully and still have you care about. I mean, there were in Endgame a bajillion characters on my screen and I was hoping for each and every one of them to come out of that thing, so.
At the end of the day, yes, the powers are cool. Yes, the action is cool. Yes, the graphics. Yes, the storylines are awesome. But we love Marvel. We love the MCU. I love the MCU because of the people.
I super envy Molly, who just got to watch all of these for the first time. That's crazy cool.
2 months ago, I would have been like, I don't care about the MCU. Superhero movies, not for me. More of a wizard. Then I watched them all, and boy, oh boy, are they good.
I love them, and I love that they're part of the family, and there's more to love. And Thanos, like Winona Ryder, got caught. It did not end well for either of them. Luckily for both of them, Thanos still gets to be in movies, and Winona Ryder gets to be on Stranger Things and a very nice shampoo commercial.
Hey everybody, it's Molly. Morgan and I are loving that you're enjoying RTT, so make sure to like and subscribe and ring that notification bell so you can know when a new episode comes out. And click over here for a playlist of every single RTT episode. And if you want more All Ears, click over here for a video where I'm trapped in Disney World merchandise shops, including the Marvel store.